Good morning, true crime friends. How you doing today? Look, happy Tuesday morning. My kiddo is back up at college. The other one is about to start high school soon. I'm feeling bright and bushy and ready to go. And thank you everyone for your good wishes on my college drop-off with my son. He is safely tucked away up there at school and not eating me out of house and home here. So I am happy. I have discovered that it is cheaper to pay college tuition than it is to feed that child. Oh my goodness, he could eat professionally. But anyway, that is not what we are here to talk about. It is early in the morning, and me and you, we are here to talk about true crime. But before we get going, you know what you have to do. Go ahead and hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And then I'm going to post the links to the bingo cards. So after I'm done running my big old mouth, on the rewatch, when you go back and rewatch it, go on and mark your bingo card. And if you get a bingo, I will send you a prize. So look. This morning, we have to talk about two very important cases. Number one, have you seen this case where the man was arrested with ducks down his pants? I'm sorry, sir. What? So this gentleman, was this Florida? I don't even remember now. He was going around starting small fires, which first of all is terrible. Like, if you're going to start a fire, which you should not do, it should be in a safe, contained area, like a campfire, your fireplace, or something like that. But he was arrested for starting all these small fires. And the cops were like, okay, you have the right to remain, blah, blah, blah. Before they get into it, they're like, let's pat you down. And they patted him down, and they're like, wait, something moved. Something's moving in the man's pants. Now, listen. Right there, I would have been like, well, obviously, we're going to have to shoot you because I don't know what's moving in your pants, and I don't even want to find out. But they were like, okay, let's, wait. Is chirping? What kind of infection have you got going on that's wiggling and chirping down there in your pants? So they're like, sir, so I please, dear baby Jesus, I hope somebody put on a glove before they extracted these things. So I'm sure they put on a glove all the way up to their arm, you know, like when you're about to deliver a baby cow or something. Not that I know nothing about delivering baby cows, but I have seen the Nature Channel. So they put on a nice deep glove and they reached on down in there. I would have been terrified and talking to actual Jesus, because you need actual Jesus if you're going to reach into the pants of a crackhead or whatever he was smoking. And they pulled it out. Oh, look, two cute baby ducklings. Okay, two of them. Why do you, sir, do they scratch? Do they peck? What was happening? I appreciate the fact that this was not an animal cruelty case and he was trying to keep them warm, but also, ew. Also, what did them ducks smell like when they came out? I hope you was not eating breakfast. I'm sorry. I should have given you some sort of trigger warning. But I'm like, I can't. So, of course, the news was immediately called, as they should have been. And the ducks was on the TV. But where did they film the ducks? You think they just put the ducks back out in a lake or something like that? No. I'm sure they took the ducks to a zoo or an animal sanctuary or something like that. But the ducks in the film that they had were in an ambulance. Was the ambulance there to care for the man and his scratched up and pecked to death nether regions? Or did they call the ambulance for the ducks? Are there animal ambulances? This is what I need to know. Like, if your dog breaks a leg in the middle of the night or gets sick or something like that, can you just call an ambulance and have him picked up? Unclear. I've wondered that forever. Also, if you're over on my community tab, you saw last night. Okay, so look, we have memberships here now, right? But the membership thing is still in a soft launch because I'm trying to figure out like how to get it all set up, and I want to make sure there's enough content there and all of that. So it's just a couple of us over there having a little kiki and a private little chat at nighttime, right? Because I do my morning videos, I do lunchtime true crime. And then the last couple of nights before I go to bed, I just have a little private little chitty chat with my my true crime BFFs over there in the memberships. So last night, I'm recording my little membership thing, and then I finish and I'm uploading, and my son comes home, and he's like, Ma, there's an ambulance on the block. Well, listen. I said, wait, what? There's an ambulance? But first of all, there's a couple of people, there's like a couple of doctors and some people who work on the ambulance corps who live on my block. So I was like, sometimes they just like stop by for snacks or whatever. The ambulance driver guys will go to the chief of the ambulance driver guys lives up the street, whatever. And there's there's some sort of cardiac, whatever, surgeon. And I think they're friends with the ambulance people. I don't know. I wonder if they give him referrals. So anyway, I was like, oh, they're probably just like stopping at that house over there for snacks. And they were like, my son was like, it's a couple of police cars and they're parked in front of so-and-so's house, one of my son's friends. I was like, what? So, I could not get in my window fast enough. I was like, Because I am Gladys Kravitz. Yes, I am the nosy neighbor. So I was like, but I couldn't see good. It was dark. All I could see was lights. So, I was dressed already in my black pajamas. So I was like, well, clearly I am dressed for sneaking up on things. So I put on some flip-flops and I walked out the front door. And my husband was like, what are you doing? I was like, shh, I have to, there's an investigate. I need to investigate something. He just rolled his eyes, but he knows who he's married to. He knew I was going to go spy on the neighbors. Come on now. What did we just meet? So here I go walking up the street and I'm like, well, if there's other neighbors standing outside looking around, then I would just walk up to the other neighbors like, hey girl, how you doing? How the kids? Listen, what's happening? What's going on over here? So, but it was no other neighbors outside because the ambulance had tipped onto the block with lights, but no sirens. So I was like, it couldn't be a big emergency if no sirens, but lights and 2 police cars. But also 2 police cars could mean that there's a cat up a tree because I live in a small enough town, or it's like, I live in a section of town where if a teensy little thing happens, the officer friendly in them, they turn out in force. So here I am, tiptoe up the block, and I can't see nothing. So I was like, wait, but now people are moving, but no neighbors around checking out the situation. Are they looking out their windows like I was? Do they have a better view than me? I wonder which house has the better view. So I was like, wait, I heard some police people talking, and then I heard them bringing somebody out the house, and I didn't want to be seen because then I would look like I was being nosy, and I like to be nosy. I don't like to be seen as being nosy, like caught in the act. Oh my goodness. So I did the only thing I could do. I hid in a bush and watched the action. Because manners, I didn't want to disturb them. I didn't want to distract them from the sick person, whoever it was. And so here I am in a bush, squinting real hard, trying to see what's going on. So this is what I have surmised based on absolutely nothing except for what I spied while standing inside of a bush. First of all, I took a picture because I know y'all nosy too. And y'all wanted to see what was happening. So I got my little iPhone because I have my iPhone ready to record. What if I needed to collect some evidence? Yes, the police were there, but they might need my help. I am a citizen detective. So I took a picture of the flashing lights and stuff. And I was like, okay, it's 2 police cars and it's an ambulance, or is that a fire truck? But our ambulances are big, gigantic affairs. So I said to my son, I went back in my house and I said to my son, are you sure that wasn't a fire truck? He's like, no, Ma, it's an ambulance. I was like, hey, do you know if it was this house or that house? Because I think it was that house. He was like, it's the house on the other side of the street. I was like, oh, there's an elderly person who lives there who is having some health concerns. And either he's no longer on this mortal coil, and so they was not in a rush, or maybe it wasn't that big of an emergency, but ambulances are expensive. And so if you call the ambulance, usually that means like, oh, we need to get him to the hospital right away. Also, I live fairly close to a hospital. Like if you were in decent health, you really could have walked to it. But I was like, okay, I really don't know anything here. I have no facts and no details. And the neighborhood Facebook page hasn't been updated in like 3 years. So I might have to like take a little peek over there and see what anybody knows. But the last time it was an ambulance on our block, somebody died. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to find out. So of course I asked my kids, because kids run their mouths. Unlike adults. So I asked my son, and my son was like, okay, yeah, I came home, but after I came home, they was already gone. But the front door at so-and-so's house was still open, so I could hit him up in the morning. I was like, perfect, but don't be nosy, because we don't want to be seen as being nosy. We actually are very nosy. I like to call it investigative, but we just want to make sure that everything on the block is going fine. In other news, we are down in South Carolina today. This Pangalangan, whatever the lady's name is a hot car death. First of all, these deaths are horrific, but this family is especially bad. I suspect that a little methamphetamine might have been involved in this one, because here's why. This woman who was voted Teacher of the Year down there in Colleton County. How you Teacher of the Year and you got a hot car death? Okay, was it like a baby and it was an accident and you forgot and it was a nice summer day? No. That is not what was going on. This woman had a 13-year-old special needs daughter, right? Okay, so she been taking care of this baby for 13 years. The girl is nonverbal and she uses a wheelchair and all of this. And she was like, this is the mama story. I ran in my boyfriend's house to get a pack of cigarettes, and I came back out and I realized, oh, I have locked the keys in the car. Oh me, oh my, whatever will I do? This is South Carolina, where there could not possibly be a brick or a rock or a gun to break my window, and I would not want to sacrifice my precious window for the life of my child. Let me go see if I can find a spare key. So according to her, she spent 5 hours looking for a spare key. Ma'am, you did not. You did not. She's like, and then we finally got her out of the car. How you get her out of the car? That key fob that you had right there in your pocket the whole time? That's what I suspect. She's like, we finally got her out of the car, but she was beyond saving. It was tragic. And the cops are like, yeah, right. Listen, we're going to have to get us some video footage because you a lying sack of sugar. So they have, now listen, these people were not criminal masterminds, because the boyfriend's house where this whole situation went down, he had security cameras that recorded what actually happened. What actually happened was she pulled up to her boyfriend's house. She took a 13-year-old daughter out of the house, and they went in the house together with the boyfriend. Okay, great. Then they put the child back in the car and left her to sit in a hot car until she died, checking on her a couple of times. What is she, a roast? You just put her in the oven and just go check on her a couple. And then at one point they left and were gone for an hour and came back and were like, oh, it looks like she's done. This is cruel and unusual. I would not do this to a puppy. I would not do this to a cat. I would not do this to a mongoose. And I don't even like mongoose. Is mongoose the plural of mongoose? Unclear. So she left her very own flesh and blood in a car to suffocate and die for 5 hours, and then called the police and cried a sad story. And the cops was like, nah, girl, because you might be high. We are not. We are doing a full investigation. So they did their full investigation, and they were like, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to, I should have the right to just smack you dead in your face for what you did to this child. But I'm not, because we are a civilized society. What we're going to do is put you on trial, and then we will very humanely shoot you with some bullets until you're dead, or whatever they do in South Carolina. I get the feeling that they just shoot people recreationally down there in South Carolina. But what do I know? So she's going to go on trial today, and I will be over there with Brandy Churchwell and the 13th jurors. Hey, 13th jurors. I'm going to be over there watching the case with all of my friends while I'm doing work. It's the end of the month, child. My workload gets super, super busy at the end of the month because I got billings and I got things to do. So, I'm like, okay, I will be keeping an eye on this child. This woman is horrible. Yes, she is innocent until proven guilty. I personally have decided that she's guilty, but I am not on the jury, so good for me. I can make these decisions and I can make these public declarations because I am not down there in Colleton County. You know who else is down in Colleton County? Who I really love? Judge Newman. Hey, Judge Newman, how you doing, boo-boo? Okay, because I know he's not seeing this. I could just like flirt and throw kisses at the judge. So Judge Newman is going to have us bring the jury, and I will be there for every moment of it. Oh, he's so wise and judicial and kind, and he's just like, he's an inspiration. But as further proof that this family, the Pangalangan family, is trash, full, unmitigated trash. 1 week after Mrs. Pangalangan, Teacher of the Year, killer of her own daughter, is arrested for the hot car death of her own child, Mrs. Pangalangan's adult daughter, also arrested for leaving her children in a car, unattended. Is this a family thing? Is this what people do? I mean, okay, I remember being left in the car as a child, but usually when it happened, my mother, first of all, don't blame my mother, but this is what happened. She would park in the handicap space and she would run into Kmart and make her return and come right back out. But the air conditioner was on. We had the radio. We was listening to WTLC in Indianapolis. Is WTLC still around? So anyway, it was like a quickie thing. And yes, my mama would park in the handicap, but to make it better, whenever she parked in the handicap, number one, I know that's wrong. I would never do it. But at the time, this is back in the 70s and 80s, my mom was like, look, I got things to do. So she would park in the handicap, and whenever she had to park in the handicap, because she was going to be real quick, she would limp when she got out of the car. I don't think that's what they look for when they I think they're looking for like a handicap placard or plate to say like, oh, this person is disabled and so they need this spot. She made it her business. If it was only one handicap spot available, she would not take that spot. But if it was two, she would be like, oh, well, I'm only going to be 5 minutes. And so she would park in the spot and then she would limp into the store and make her whatever, run around the store. You know, she run around full bodied, like everything is fine. And then when she got to the door, she could see we were still sitting in the car fine. She would limp from the door to the car. I don't know why the limp, now that I think about it, but it kind of makes sense, though not really. Anyway, this woman did not park in a handicap spot. I'm sure she didn't limp. But she went in the Walmart and people saw a 9-year-old and a baby sitting in the car. The car was on, the air conditioner was running. And because they trifling, the back driver's side window was broken out and covered with plastic. The AC was on, but you know she didn't have no Freon because it was not blowing cool air. It was just blowing air. It was hot outside. And the people in the parking lot was like, oh no, there are 2 children in this car and the mama is nowhere to be seen. You know this happened in front of a Walmart because it always happens in front of a Walmart. And so the cops came, they was there for 15 minutes, like, where is this no account mama at? And she comes out with her little items from the Walmart. She said, oh, I was only in there for 5 minutes. And they were like, man, we've been here for 15. And she was just like, oh, what had happened was the handicap was full and I didn't think to limp. And they were like, tell it to the judge. So they clink and locked her up. Girl, your sister just died from this exact situation. Ignorance runs in families. Being dim, being short-sighted, clearly that must run in families. So the mama is going to jail. The daughter is arrested. The other daughter is unalive, no longer on this side of glory. This whole family is trifling. But you know what? I'm going into this with an open mind because Judge Clifton Newman, baby, I am recording a video. Can you keep your voice down, please? And thank you. So Judge Clifton Newman has already told us that we are not permitted to do public service homicides. And I'm not saying that you should unalive people, but I'm saying if there happen to be public service homicide, that these 2 might be on the list of qualifications. I'm mere speculation. Now, again, gossip, rumor, and innuendo does not condone the unaliving of other people without the use of WhatsApp and antifreeze, and you ain't heard none of this from me. But all I'm saying is, these women don't meet all of the qualifications to be handed over to pest control. That's what we gonna call it. We gonna call it pest control. But they meet some of the qualifications. So if you got a girlfriend or her boyfriend been beating her up, he need pest control. If you got a man who's abusing his children, pest control. You're going to need to get on that WhatsApp group text, get you some pest control going. I'm just saying. Fentanyl is a deadly scourge out here in these streets. It also might be useful for pest control. That's all I'm saying. You ain't heard it from me, but listen. I need to get my act together this morning and do some lunchtime true crime and get on with the rest of my day. Listen, true crime friends, I will see you over at the 13th Juror, Brandy Churchwell at, I think she's logged on at 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. I'm going to be there. I trust that you will be there too. And say hey when you see me. Okay, y'all, have a great day. Bye.